Welcome back. And on the local scene, persons over the age of 1 traveling from countries where there is evidence of persistent or periodic yellow fever virus transmission are required to provide proof of yellow fever vaccination upon arrival to St. Vincent and the Grenadines. The vaccination should be taken 10 to 14 days prior to departure. This is among the measures being implemented by the Ministry of Health, Wellness and the Environment in an effort to minimize the likelihood of yellow fever, which is transmitted by the Aedes aegypti mosquito entering this country. Speaking at a media conference last Tuesday, Minister of Health Luke Brown noted that currently the threat of yellow fever is not imminent. Chief Medical Officer Dr. Simone Keyser-Beach told reporters that the increased interest in yellow fever follows recent outbreaks in certain parts of Africa and South America. Dr. Keyser-Beach said that the increased interest in yellow fever is because of the outbreak in Angola and the Democratic of Congo, and also in small areas of Brazil and Colombia. She noted that while yellow fever is present in Trinidad with the monkey population, there is no active transmission among human beings. Dr. B said that these persons coming from the countries like Suriname, where there is active yellow fever, those persons should have yellow fever vaccination certificates, adding that this is not something new, since most of the countries already have existing yellow fever vaccination on their regular immunization schedules. She further noted yellow fever vaccines will be administered at the Kingstown District Clinic. Meanwhile, the Ministry of Health in a press release provided a list of the countries for which persons traveling are required to have proof of yellow fever vaccination on arrival. These countries are Angola, Benin, Burkina Faso, Burundi, Cameroon, Central African Republic, Chad, Republic of Congo, Cote d'Ivoire, Democratic Republic of the Congo, Equatorial Guinea, Ethiopia, Gabon, Gambia, Ghana, Guinea, Guinea-Bissau, Kenya, Liberia, Mali II, Mauritania, Niger, Nigeria, Senegal, Sierra Leone, South Sudan, Sudan, Togo, and Uganda. Other countries include Argentina, Bolivia, Brazil, Colombia, Ecuador, French Guyana, Panama, Paraguay, Peru, Suriname, Trinidad and Tobago, and Venezuela. Leader of the Democratic Republican Party of St. Vincent and the Grenadines SBG, Anissa Batiste, has condemned and is calling for immediate removal of Clause 16 of the Cybercrime Bill 2016, which was introduced into the House of Parliament in June this year.
I believe that if the publication online constitutes credible threats against a person's life, credible threats, of violence against a person's property, that is already in the criminal code. That is a reasonable limitation of speech. Criminalize that. If a person threatens and shows that they have intention to carry out the threat against a person's life or against their property, that is fair. But words which do not constitute criminal behavior, words which simply cause somebody to feel humiliated or embarrassed or intimidated, whatever that may mean, because a person could lie and say, you have distressed me by your words. A person could have vendetta against another person and say, I'm going to bring this claim against you because your words have caused me detriment to my self-esteem, whatever that means. To criminalize such words because of the effect somebody claims it has on them is dangerous to free speech. Clause 16's criminalization of cyberbullying will legalize thin-skinnedness.
The bill, which is currently before a select committee of the House, is expected to be debated in Parliament at its next sitting on August 4th. Ms. Batiste says she believes it will pass if select committee work is completed by that time.
I am horrified to think that in discussion in select committee of our country's parliament, people could use such foolish reasoning to limit the God-given free speech of the people. It is shameful to see, for example, the lack of interest in ensuring that the draft has legal certainty, preferring instead to say, oh, well, let's leave that matter of interpretation up to the evidence in the court. I am horrified to see the insanity in drafting, emphasizing what seems like the need to have revenge and carry out vendetta, seemingly ready to hunt down those who have wronged you on Facebook or on radio, for example. And I am equally horrified to see that there is absolute emphasis on ensuring the state can prosecute rather than ensuring that the law is used as a shield to protect the rights and freedoms of the people, and must only be used as a sword in a proportionate way against credible wrongs.
She said in a press release that Clause 16 creates an offense, harassment utilizing electronic means of communication, and this offense basically criminalizes electronic criminal libel and communication, which constitutes cyberbullying according to its definition in the bill.
Because somebody is offended or feels distressed or harassed, and that you can go to jail and get a criminal record for it. It is atrocious, it is ludicrous, it is vexing, it is a backward provision in law, and that is why I call for it to be removed and not passed in the Cybercrime Bill 2016. You have to understand that if it is passed into law, not only can persons be criminalized with heavy fines of up to 200,000 Eastern Caribbean dollars maximum under this section, and or go to jail for a maximum of 5 years or both, according to the law, that's the penalty. But also, the decision to convict will be left up to the arbitrary feelings of a magistrate or judge in the absence of legal clarity on the terms which define the offense. Even if the matter never reaches the court, the police and prosecution through whom complaints will be made can be flooded with time-wasting, nonsensical claims which they will arbitrarily assess because of the lack of clarity in the law.
According to Mrs. Baptiste, Clause 16's criminalization of cyberbullying will legalize thin-skinnedness, and this will breed more thin-skinnedness and discord in the population. People who usually have overlooked and ignored hurtful words will now be encouraged to harbor them in their minds and rush to engage the police and the courts for revenge.
Is dangerous to free speech. Clause 16's criminalization of cyberbullying will legalize thin-skinnedness, and this will breed more thin-skinnedness and discord in the population. People who would have usually overlooked and ignored hurtful words will now be encouraged to harbor them in their minds, and they will rush to engage the police and the courts for revenge. A thin-skinned society, rather than a mature one, is what will result, breeding a people who are intolerant, contentious, and full of confusion-making over words that are not credibly criminal. Words published on Twitter, shared on Facebook, WhatsApp, etc.
She added that a thin-skinned society, rather than a mature one, will result, breeding a people who are intolerant, contentious, and full of confusion-making over words that are not credible, criminal, published on Twitter, shared on Facebook, WhatsApp, etc. Deputy Commissioner of Police Ronald Hathaway is scheduled to take up the top post in the Royal St. Vincent and the Grenadines Police Force when Commissioner of Police COP Michael Charles goes on pre-retirement leave on August 1, 2016. Mr. Hathaway, who has been appointed Acting Commissioner of Police, joined the police force in 1982. Commissioner Charles, who has been a police officer for about 35 years, took up the top spot in the force in 2013, replacing Keith Miller. Meanwhile, Assistant Director of Public Prosecution, DPP Colin John, is expected to return to the constabulary as Acting Deputy Commissioner of Police, effective August 1, 2016. Commissioner of Police COP Mr. Michael Charles has been commended for his service to the Royal St. Vincent and the Grenadines Police Force and people of this country over the past 35 years. This week is the last week on the job for Mr. Top Cop Charles, who will proceed on pre-retirement leave on August 1, 2016. Deputy Prime Minister Louis Straker, speaking at a ceremony on Friday at the Old Montrose Police Station, described Commissioner Charles as a professional man. Deputy Prime Minister also congratulated incoming Commissioner of Police, Mr. Ronald Hathaway. Sir Straker went on to describe Hathaway as a true professional who was given dedicated service to his country and its police force, a student of the law, and expressed confidence that he would follow in the footsteps of Mr. Charles and be an excellent police commissioner, doing his best in the service of his country and for the upliftment, the promotion of those who are in the police force. 32 police officers, 6 being females, were recognized and awarded on Friday, July 22nd, after having completed the Regional Security Services RSS Basic Course 1 of 2016. The officers hailing from Antigua and Barbuda, Barbados, Dominica, Grenada, St. Kitts and Nevis, and St. Vincent and the Grenadines participated in the training course held in 2 phases over a 12-week period, with Phase 1 in Barbados from May 3rd to July 1st, and Phase 2 in St. Vincent from July 3rd to the 22nd. Speaking at the graduation ceremony held at the Old Montrose Police Station, Commissioner of Police Michael Charles said that the strength of the RSS must never be underestimated and urged the graduates to share the knowledge and skills learned with their colleagues in the homeland. Meanwhile, Deputy Executive Officer of the RSS, Mr. Bertie Hines, expressed thanks to the U.S. government for funding the training course and outlined some of the future goals of RSS, such as rooting out corruption in the force and continuing to gear up for transitional organized crime. More local news when we come back.